Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm the owner of seasonandsurfblog.com. You'll see I've been away for a few weeks, and that's because my husband David and I were away on our honeymoon after getting married in 2020. It was 3 years in the making, but our honeymoon trip to Japan was absolutely worth the wait. We had an amazing time. We saw a bunch of different sights, ate a bunch of different foods, and it is all too much to fit into one video. So this is part one of our Japan travel vlog, and this is all of the amazing sights that we saw in Tokyo and southern Japan. Now, while sightseeing was really fun, it was even more fun to eat all of the amazing, delicious foods they have in Japan. And if you want to see that, make sure you stay tuned for next week, where I'll be releasing part 2 of our Japan travel vlog, telling you about all the amazing foods we ate in Japan. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss it. But if you want to see all the amazing sights that we saw, just keep on watching. Alright everyone, welcome to our Japan vlog. We're currently here in YVR. We're in a quiet room, which is like a lounge kind of. There's no one in here. That's a really bad view. But yeah, we are on our way to Haneda Airport.
Yeah, long time coming. Excited.
3 years in the making.
I know.
But yeah, we're gonna rest here for a bit, then go to our gate, and then we'll see you when we get to Japan. So we took our flight from Vancouver to Haneda Airport in Tokyo, and after some flight delays, we finally were able to check into our hotel, and we got a bowl of ramen and basically just went to bed. So the next day was our first day exploring Tokyo, and our first stop was to visit the Imperial Gardens. So we got on the Tokyo subway and went over to the gardens. It was already pretty hot by the time we got up. It was about 25 degrees this whole trip, so it was quite toasty. But the gardens were really nice because it was nice and cool, and it was just nestled in the middle of the city, which is amazing. There were also lots of really cool citrus trees and persimmon trees that we saw there. I love seeing that in the wild. It is so cool. We just walked around and stayed cool in the morning while we explored the gardens. Alright, so we just finished up in the Imperial Gardens. There weren't like flowers, like that type of garden. It was just kind of like a park with different kinds of trees. We saw some citrus trees, which were really cool, and persimmon. So I love seeing like fruit trees and stuff like that in the wild. It's like the coolest thing ever. But now, what are we doing now, David?
We'll go to... Well, might as well check out the Imperial Palace, because I thought this was going to take us like 2 hours, but we're done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. So we're gonna go see the palace now. So after that, we didn't actually go to the Imperial Palace just because it was so busy when we got there. So instead, we decided to head over to Shibuya and go to Meiji Shrine. It was really cool to see all the sake barrels lined up, and then you walk a little bit further and you get to the shrine. The shrine was also really busy, but it was really cool to look at. After that, we went into Harajuku and got some lunch, and we stopped at this really cool thrift store called Chicago, and in the back they actually had a vintage kimono store, so you could buy your own kimono and all the different accessories that come with it. But these were so beautiful to look at. The details on them were impeccable, and I loved all the different bright colors. After grabbing lunch and exploring Harajuku for a little bit, we went over to Yoyogi Park, which is also in Shibuya City. Yoyogi Park was really big and had different areas of the park. So we started in this garden area that had so much biodiversity. There were so many butterflies and different bugs flying around, landing on all the plants. It was really cool. They even had some olive trees, which were absolutely huge. And it was really cool looking at the different species of plants and what can grow there with the climate. So after looking at the garden, we walked around. They had really nice walking paths all throughout the park and lots of places for people to sit and enjoy themselves. And then we parked ourselves on this beautiful bench with the water fountain, and we just took a break here. All right, so we are very tired. Just looking across the street. We were out all day, so we're gonna go back to the hotel and rest. And then tonight for dinner, we're gonna go with our friend Wally, and we're gonna have some tuna. So we're very excited, but we need to rest for a bit, shower, and just like lay down for a bit.
Yep.
We're very jet lagged. Now this meal was probably one of the best meals I've ever had in my life, but if you want to see all of that and all the other foods that we ate in Japan, stay tuned because I am doing part 2 of just the foods that we ate in Japan. That'll be coming out next week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. So on our second day in Japan, we also stayed in Tokyo, and after that first day and all that walking and the heat, my feet swelled up like crazy. They swelled up to the size of David's feet, which was insane. So none of the shoes I brought fit me, so I had to wear my hotel slippers out. I called them my chanclas because they were absolutely chanclas, just those beautiful slippers. So I wore my chanclas out that day, and they went for a whole day on the town. We went on the Tokyo subway in them, and we even went to Shibuya Crossing, and they got to go through Shibuya Crossing, which I thought was really special and just an insane destiny for these shoes that would have otherwise been hotel slippers. But I thought this was super funny. They weren't that comfortable to walk in, especially on the uneven ground, but we eventually got to Uniqlo where I thought I was going to buy some shoes, but they actually had no shoes there. So after walking around Uniqlo for a little bit, we ended up at Muji where I actually found these easy slide-on white shoes. They were pretty comfortable and I wore them for most of the trip. Now, if you're worried about the chanclas, I did actually keep them and I brought them back to Canada with me, so I'm just going to use them for my around the house shoes after giving them a good clean, but they have fulfilled their destiny. After getting the shoe situation sorted out, we decided to take it easy that day just so my feet could recover, and we did some shopping at a store called Loft. This was an amazing department store. They had clothes, shoes, bags, camping gear, kitchen stuff. It was absolutely amazing. Definitely one of the best department stores I've ever been to in my life. We could have bought everything at that store, but we did pick up a few things as souvenirs. And overall, we had a nice chill afternoon before going out for dinner and ending our day in Tokyo. So the next day we checked out of our hotel in Shinjuku and we were on our way to Osaka. We went to Shinjuku Station to get some breakfast, and they had so many amazing shops in the station itself. I am honestly so amazed by this still. I wish we had this in North America so bad, but they had everything. They had pastries, bento boxes, flowers, so many different shops, and they were all super beautiful and they were all busy, which is a really good sign for food places. So after getting some breakfast, we activated our JR pass and then we went on the Shinkansen, which is the high-speed bullet train. And I absolutely loved riding on the Shinkansen. It can reach up to 320 kilometers an hour, which is really impressive because it's not a maglev bullet train, so it doesn't float. It's actual wheels on the rails, and it was just amazing. And I thought it was super cool that we were going that fast and you didn't feel anything. It was just that amazing. So after going about an hour out of Tokyo, we finally reached the countryside and we saw Mount Fuji from the train. It was beautiful. It was a very intimidating volcano, but I loved looking at it. And one day, maybe we'll go visit it. So we traveled 500 kilometers in about 3 hours south to Osaka, and once we arrived there, we dropped our luggage off and we went to the Osaka Aquarium. Now, this aquarium was pretty cool, but it was located in a very touristy area, and we had a slightly delayed entry just because it was so busy, so we were kind of stuck doing some touristy stuff, but we had a good time. After waiting for about an hour and a half, we got into the aquarium, and it was absolutely amazing. Definitely one of the best aquariums I've ever been to. Once you go in, you enter this blue tunnel with all these fish swimming around you, and then you enter into this beautiful tropical area. There were little otters sitting there, and they were being fed at the time that we went in, so we watched the otters eat. And then we just followed the one-way path through the aquarium to the different exhibits. It was really cool to see all the different animals and fish that were there. We saw some puffins, and they were really cute, watching them swim and dive in the water. It was really neat to see. We also saw some seals, really similar to what we see here in BC, so it was really cute to see them. They were playing with bubbles, which was absolutely adorable, and they even had penguins at the exhibit, which I thought was really cool. They were all swimming around the water, having a good time, and they just looked so cute. We also saw a bunch of other different fish. They had different exhibits for different areas of the world, which I thought was really cool. I think this one was like a South America or like a Central America exhibit, and we saw this insane fish. I still don't know what this was called, but it was so freaky and I absolutely loved it. This was definitely my favorite fish of the aquarium. The Osaka Aquarium is actually most famous for their whale sharks, and they actually had 2 in here at the time, and they were absolutely huge and so beautiful. It was really cool to see the whale sharks swimming around with other sharks in the tank, other fish, and even this cute little stingray. In total, we spent about an hour and a half, almost up to 2 hours actually, in the aquarium. It was just so beautiful and we had such a great time there. It is definitely a must-see if you go to Osaka. So after finishing up at the aquarium, we took a taxi back to our hotel, which is also in Osaka. And this hotel was unlike any hotel we've ever stayed in. Check it out. All right, everyone, we just got to our hotel and we walked into the 80s. Like, this is magical. I wasn't alive in the 80s, but like, I feel the vibes. So I gotta do a room tour at this hotel. So when you walk in, there's a little reception area here. There's a closet, and then you walk in. Look at this. The room divider with the bed. Look at this lamp and these chairs. Dude's executive desk over here with a corded phone. Oh my God.
I got business to do. Hang on.
Oh.
Yes. Sell it all.
Dang! Like, look at this. The pink marble with the green. Look at that lamp. Look at this. I want this lamp. That's a nice lamp. Oh my God. The room divider just like makes it. Like, it's crazy. So behind the room divider is our bed. It's a king size bed. And over here, there's chairs, a little sitting area. And then David found a radio in this. So you turn this on. Wait. Like, are you kidding?
I need a cigar and a shot of whiskey.
Yeah. This is crazy. And I'm gonna show you the bathroom too. The bathroom is so big. Biggest bathroom we've been in Japan so far. You walk in, there's a mirror here, a closet, a little vanity area to do your makeup. Look at these sconces. Like, I love these. Oh my God, stunning. And the bathroom's here, the pink sink. I'm dying. Like, this is insane.
Wait till you see the rest of the hotel.
Yeah, I didn't even film it coming up here, but this place is wild.
Oh my God.
Much better than the last hotel.
I feel like, I don't know what just happened. We just went from like
2023 to 1985.
Like fully all the way down to the basement of this place.
It's amazing. So we're gonna unpack. We're gonna enjoy this room, get dinner, and see what happens. This hotel was called the New Atami, which is located in Osaka, and it was kind of like a Vegas hotel. I've never been to Vegas before, but I imagine this is exactly what it's like. So after settling in, showering, and getting changed, we decided to go up to the restaurant and bar, and we had some drinks up there. And it was really cool because you could see Osaka Castle from the bar, all lit up and looking super beautiful. After that, we just got some food and then went to bed. So the next travel day was for Himeji and Kobe. So we got up nice and early and we started taking the multiple train lines to get to Himeji. I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 different train lines, but it was really cool to see everything. And we also got to see the Hello Kitty Shinkansen, which is apparently very rare to see. So we were blessed by Hello Kitty on our trip. So after about traveling for an hour and a half south, we arrived in Himeji. We got off the train and you look down the road and you see Himeji Castle staying there in all of its glory. So we walked down to the castle, and instead of going to the castle first, we actually made a left and we went to the castle gardens, which is called Kokoen Garden. This was definitely my favorite garden that we visited in all of the areas we went in Japan, and it was just so serene, so beautiful. Everything was very well thought out in terms of plant species, the spacing, the design of them. It was so beautiful, and I think Japanese gardens have to be my most favorite garden now. They are just absolutely stunning. What I really liked the most about this garden is that there were different gardens within this larger garden as you walk through it. So they had a garden of pine trees, they had a garden of seedlings where they had all these raised beds where they were growing plants. They had a garden of flowers, a bamboo garden. It was just so beautiful and we absolutely loved it. We spent actually most of our time in this garden. So after finishing up at Kokoen Garden, we walked back over to Himeji Castle and walked through the castle gates up to the castle. When you enter in, there's this really nice big park lawn where you can see the castle from. It was absolutely stunning from there, but then as you walk up, you can see better and better views of the castle. So after making David take a bunch of different touristy photos and messing around with him a little bit, we decided to pull one of the most touristy things ever. All right, we're down here, looking up there. And now we're up here, looking down there. There are lots of steps. And now we have to go all the way back down. And the steps are like this. So, David, what have you done to me?
It's a UNESCO heritage site.
It's a UNESCO, I'm gonna break my ankle site. If your vacation doesn't involve standing at the bottom of something and looking up and then going to the top and looking down, did you even vacation, really? But Himeji Castle was really awesome. It is a lot of walking and a lot of stairs, so it's not very accessible if you're in a wheelchair or anything like that, and the doorways are also really short. Yeah, lots of stairs, lots of walking, but it's understandable because this castle began getting built in 1333, which is crazy. It was completed in, I think, the 1600s, which is insane. So it's a very old castle and it survived all the wars since then, so even the Second World War it survived, which is pretty incredible since it's an entirely wood structure. So it was pretty cool, and again, I warn you, there are a lot of stairs if you do visit, so walking up I think is totally fine. It's just going back down. It is not the most pleasant experience because the stairways are very, very steep and they actually make you take off your shoes inside the castle, and the stairs are pretty slippery even with the little grips on them. It was crazy. People were going down backwards, people were going down on their bums. Like, it is a very old castle, so definitely be prepared to walk up and then walk back down the stairs. However, once you got back down from the castle, you could go out and explore the other areas around it, like this spooky well. This was 15 meters deep and just dark and ominous. And I thought this was really cool. There's actually the body of a monk that's buried in this rectangular slab in the side of the castle. And apparently there is multiple monks that have actually been buried in the castle, and they have protected the castle from being destroyed. And it obviously worked because the castle is still standing. And when you're on your way out of the castle, definitely stop by and check this out. There is a plaque with a ghost story on it. Pause to read. It just sent shivers up and down our spines when we were there. And basically there was a girl that was thrown down this well, and you can still hear her to this day sometimes. So if you go over, you throw a coin in for good luck, and the ghost is supposed to leave you alone. So we actually threw a coin in, and David landed it in a really good spot. So no ghosties for us. So after leaving the castle, we grabbed some lunch and walked through Himeji a little bit. We went through this big shopping mall that was multiple blocks long. And then we took the train over to Kobe, and Kobe was really cool. We walked around for a little bit before dinner, and we saw this awesome band. I don't know who they were, but they were bopping. They were so good. So we listened to them for a little bit, and then we had a Kobe beef dinner, of course, since we were in Kobe. And again, if you want to see that, check out part 2 of my Japan travel vlog. And after dinner, we had to walk all that delicious beef off. So we went down to the marina area and we saw this site where this bridge had collapsed and was just left in the water after an earthquake. It was really cool to see, but also equally terrifying. And after seeing that, we just walked around a little bit more, saw this really cute store called Pearly Gates. It reminded us of our cat Pearl. And then we went back to our hotel in Osaka. So on this day, my feet just basically decided to give up and betray me. I had lots of blisters from walking around. I wasn't wearing the proper shoes, so we had to hit up a drugstore and pick up a bunch of different blister pads for my feet. And we took it pretty easy that day. We did a little bit of shopping in a nearby mall, and then I was able to rally so we could go out for an evening in downtown Osaka. So when going out in Osaka, head over to Dotonbori. It is a very touristy area, but despite that, it's pretty cool because you have to see this Glico Man running sign. I don't know why, it's just pretty iconic for Dotonbori and Osaka, so it's definitely a must-see. Again, very touristy, as you can see, lots of big neon signs, light up signs, tons of people. It was pretty crazy. But a pro tip to get a really good shot of the Glico Man sign is to actually go underneath the bridge. There's a couple walking paths on either side, so you can go down there and take a picture, and there's way less people than there is up in the main square. So after exploring Dotonbori a little bit more, we decided to grab dinner, and this evening we had ramen, which was amazing. And then after that, we just walked around a little bit more and then headed back to our hotel to rest. So we were in for another day of adventure, so we picked up a nice iced coffee after we got up and made our way to the train station to head over to Kuroman Ichiba Market, which is a famous seafood market in Japan. So Kuroman Market is kind of in this weird like business park area in Osaka, but it's this long, endless shopping mall just full of seafood. I think in total there was 150 shops, and it's a big deal. Like you can do like tours and stuff for this place, but it's really cool just to wander and see what is available. Most of the shops had a lot of crab and prawns. I think those were the 2 most popular things, but there was also lots of oysters, scallops, uni, clams, octopus, squid, so many different things, so we had to start trying them. All the seafood there was really fresh. It didn't smell like fish at all. It was just fresh from the ocean. It literally smelled like the ocean in the city, and they cooked the food right there for you. So we got this really amazing scallop skewer. Again, if you want to see the rest of the things we eat here, definitely check out part 2 of this travel vlog. But this scallop skewer was absolutely amazing. It was so delicious, and we tried lots of other amazing foods here. So after filling up on seafood and watching how they cooked everything, we actually did a little bit of shopping, and I picked up some kombu and some really thinly sliced chilies that go on top of ramen. So we brought those home with us. And then after that, we made our way back to the train station and headed over to Nara. So after a quick 45-minute train ride, we were in Nara. When you get out of the station there, you walk for 5 minutes, and then there are just deer everywhere. It is crazy. These deer are super comfortable being around humans because you can feed them. If they bow, you give them a little treat, and yeah. They can get pretty aggressive though because of all these treats that they get from tourists. And we're able to see this because David actually got bit by a deer on his butt because I wanted to feed the deer and then chickened out. So, sorry, David. Oh, look at this.
Wait. Hang on.
I'm dying, dude. You have to make them bow first. No, you don't. Oh, David, this little one. I'll feed this one.
There's no more.
Here you go. Ah, don't bite me. Oh no, we split. Okay, I'm sorry. They're aggressive. So yeah, moral of the story is take your chances if you want to feed the deer because they can be pretty crazy. So after that, we walked a little bit further into Nara Park, and David wanted to try this earthquake simulator. It was actually pretty cool. The initial simulation was just what it would be like being in a building when there's an earthquake that's not seismically isolated. And then the second time, obviously it was a lot smoother, but he was thrashing around there, just making a total fool of himself, but it looks like he had a really good time. So after having fun there, we walked through various gates and dodged many more deer to reach Todaiji Temple. And Todaiji is a Buddhist temple that was built in the 700s Common Era, not the 1700s, the 700s. So it is a very old Buddhist temple that is still standing in Nara, Japan. And when you go inside, there is the big Buddha and all the different Buddhas around it. It was just so beautiful. You have to wonder back then how they built all this, how they made it so nice, and how they built the structure around it. It's just absolutely amazing. So we spent a little bit of time in here and took in all of the amazing sights. And after visiting this temple, we went on a basic pilgrimage up the side of a mountain in Nara Park to visit this knife shop. And my gosh, was this pilgrimage worth it. This knife shop is 750 years old and they make all the knives right there. And there's so many different kinds of knives that they make, as you can see. Various peeling knives, santoku knives, they have garden shears, garden scissors, they have regular knives. It is amazing. It was so cool to see, and the prices weren't actually too bad. I thought they would be a lot more expensive, but these are actually moderately priced. So this is the shop we went to, pause to read. And we even got one of the bladesmiths to carve our last name in the Chinese lettering into the knives that we bought. So this is one of the knives I got. I got a santoku knife and he carved our name into it. It's pretty cool. Definitely gonna have this in our family for many, many years. I also got a second knife. It's just a general all-purpose knife for chopping things like garlic and ginger. We got that engraved, and I also got a pair of garden scissors. I didn't get them engraved because they were too small, but those are beautiful scissors and knives. And after having that experience, we walked around Nara Park a little bit more. We saw many more deer and various shrines that were really cool, and lots of lanterns. I think it would be really cool to see these lanterns all lit up at night. I don't think they do that on the regular basis. I think it's just for festivals and stuff like that, but it was really pretty. And lurking around every corner, there were more deer. Literally, they were everywhere. After walking around Nara Park, we were pretty tired, so we decided to stop for a coffee at the most picturesque Starbucks I've ever seen. And after that, we actually went out for a nice cocktail at a place called Lamp Bar, which I'll show you in part 2 of my Japan travel vlog. And after dinner, we walked around a little bit before heading back to Osaka for our final night stay there. On our next day, we left Osaka and headed down further south towards Hiroshima to visit the museum. Hiroshima was actually a really cool city, and I really liked all the cute little trolley cars that they had. They were really fun to ride, and after about a 5-minute ride on them, we arrived at Hiroshima Gate Park, which is an area where you enter before heading into the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. So in the middle of this park, there is a standing structure here that was left after the atomic bomb exploded. It's said that it still stands to this day because the bomb exploded over top of this, so it just ended up not getting knocked down, or getting totally knocked down, I should say. But they left it exactly the same way it was after the bomb exploded, which is pretty crazy. So walking from the park up to the museum, you could definitely feel a very somber tone. There were lots of people there to learn though, which was great, but One of the things that made me totally lose it was going to the Children's Memorial. I just broke down and I'm gonna start crying again, but I was bawling here. It was so sad. It was really nice to see though that kids are still doing art for this, even to this day. So there's new art installations here by schools and stuff like that every once in a while. So yeah, after crying there, we went to the museum and cried some more. And I obviously didn't do any filming inside the museum itself. The exhibits were very graphic and just very sad, and the only thing I was able to capture was this billboard of the before and after photo. But yeah, it's a very sad place, and you're definitely gonna cry a lot if you visit here, but I highly recommend you visit this museum. All right, so we just visited the Hiroshima Museum. Oh my god, it was sad. That was sad, and Children's Memorial was sad. I was crying. Did you cry?
At the Children's Memorial.
That was like, with all like the stuff going on in like Palestine, it was just like, but like the art was like,
you could really feel the art,
emotion.
the
Yeah.
emotion. Yeah, it's hard to describe.
Yeah. So yeah, we were doing good, and then like we rounded one corner, and then like someone started crying, and then like 4 other people started crying, and then like everyone started crying. It was a collective cry. So yeah, it was sad, but good to learn and to know about, obviously. So yeah, now we're gonna do some happy things. We're gonna go to Miyajima. We're gonna take like monorail, a streetcar, a ferry, a train.
Yeah.
So many modes of transportation to get there. So let's go do that. We're gonna have a nice dinner tonight. A very traditional dinner, right, David?
Yes.
Nice. So yeah, let's go do that. So literally after taking all those different modes of transportation to the Miyajima port, we arrived at the ferry terminal, and the ferry terminal was really beautiful. We were just getting there as sunset was happening, so we got to see a beautiful sunset as we took the ferry across to Miyajima, which is an island.
Yeah. We're on the ferry to Miyajima.
It looks so beautiful. Very beautiful. The ride over to Miyajima was really quick. It was just about 5 minutes. I think ferries come and go every 5 to 10 minutes or so. And the sights really looked like BC. I felt like I was back home on a BC ferry. It was just spectacular. And as you approach the island, you can see the red famous Torii Gate there, the one that's out in the water. It was really cool to see, especially from the ferry. Once we made it over to Miyajima, we called our hotel to come and pick us up. We basically could have walked to the hotel, but they insisted to come and pick us up. As we were waiting, we saw deer, and we learned that it was mating season. So the deer were absolutely crazy, and so crazy, in fact, that David got attacked by this one in particular. It ripped open our Muji bag that had snacks and everything in it, then just proceeded to eat the whole bag. So that was interesting, but the guys came and picked us up, and we were off to our hotel. So after taking some windy roads up the side of a mountain in the dark, we arrived at our ryokan, and this is a traditional Japanese hotel, I would say. It has the traditional tatami mat floors, and typically when you stay there, you have a really nice traditional Japanese breakfast and dinner. So it was very nice and definitely an experience you must have when you come to Japan. So we're in our hotel in Miyajima. Look at this room. I can't get over this. This is so very traditional. Oh my god, the flowers. Wow, little seating area here. So nice. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So after getting settled in for a few minutes, we had one of the hotel staff, her name was Hannah. She came up and gave us some tea and some little cakes called momiji. They are often filled with chocolate or custard, red bean, but in the fall, they actually have it filled with pumpkin or chestnut. So I think we had chestnut ones there, and it was really delicious, especially with the green tea. Then as we had our tea, she explained what we'd be doing for dinner and also how to wear the traditional Japanese robe called a yukata. So there's a specific way you have to tie it and how to wear it. So she explained all that to us, and then we got all dressed up and headed down for dinner. Alright, we're in our yukatas and we're on our way to dinner at the restaurant Miyajima at our hotel. So I'm excited. This is gonna be like a traditional dinner and I think it's gonna be amazing. That dinner was definitely amazing, and again, top 3 for sure meals we had in Japan was here. So absolutely amazing dinner. I'll tell you about that in part 2 of the travel vlog. But after dinner, we went back to the hotel and then we did a quick little walk. We went down to the main area of Miyajima where the Torii Gate was, and we saw it at night, and it was pretty spectacular to see at night, I have to admit. This walk was definitely worth it. And after that, we walked back up to the hotel and settled in for the night in our ryokan. Upon waking up in Miyajima, we checked out of our hotel and then made our way down back to the ferry. On our way back, we decided to stop at the shrine, and this is a traditional Shinto shrine, and it was really cool because it was actually built out over the water and you could actually see the tides go in and out, which is really cool. And sometimes the Torii Gate's underwater, sometimes it's not, so you're able to actually walk out to it to see it. But in the morning, it was actually underwater, so we could just look at it from afar. So after going back over on the ferry, we hopped on the train and we went actually back north up to a city called Atami. And this was really far. It actually took us 5 or 6 hours to get there. So today was basically a long travel day, but we were on the Shinkansen, so we had lots of fun. All right, we've been traveling all day and we finally got to our destination. We're in Atami, and this hotel is beautiful too. I thought the last one was really nice and the one before that. But this one's like, chef's kiss. You walk in, there's a little seating area to put on your shoes. And you come through here. Look at this room. I'm gonna do it on 0.5 zoom so you can see a little bit more. Look at this bed. Oh my gosh. David, you did such a good job. David planned this whole thing. Like, snaps for David. Little desk. TV area, and we have our little own bath, private bath outside. We have a little Nespresso, a bathroom here, shower here, I believe. Yes. Yeah, little shower. And this is the view from our hotel room. Literally like the Amalfi Coast, hill-wise, height-wise. And we're gonna have an Italian-Japanese dinner tonight, so maybe there is some inspiration from the Amalfi Coast. But oh look, there's a castle on the top there. So our dinner wasn't for a few hours, so we decided to have a bath in the onsen. This was really nice that it's private. If you go to the public onsen, you have to be in the nude in front of people. Luckily, it's only people of the same gender as you, but still having a private one is very nice. And yeah, after that, we went for dinner and they gave us a lot of wine, so we had a really good time. Well, David woke up super early and he got this beautiful shot of the sun coming up over the clouds and the ocean. This was super beautiful. I got up a couple hours later and this is the view from the hotel during the day. Absolutely stunning. Looks exactly like the Amalfi Coast, just maybe a little bit more buildings. It was really beautiful in the morning, so we had another bath at the onsen, and then we had our traditional Japanese breakfast. We actually had it in the hotel room, which was really fun. And then we got on a train and made our way back to Tokyo for our final few days stay in Japan. And when we got to Tokyo, we checked into our hotel, which is called Sequence in Miyashita Park. When we checked in, we were a little early and the room wasn't ready, so we decided to go out and do a little bit of exploring while we waited for our room. We went downstairs and the hotel was actually on top of this big like 4-story shopping mall, which is pretty cool. But we stopped at the Matcha Tokyo and we got some matcha tea. It was really cool. We actually went here like at least 2 or 3 times after this. It was just so good, so flavorful, and just really delicious. I loved it. And when in Japan, you have to have an experience of going to a Don Quixote. This store is absolutely insane. It is a hardware store, it is a toy store, it is a bathroom store, it is a kitchen store, it's a candy store. It is absolutely everything in one store, and it is loud, it is crazy. It was an experience. I personally did not like it, but you'll see that reaction here. We just came out of Don Quixote. That was a hellscape. I hated every second of being in there. It was loud. So much like literal, it's garbage. It's all plastic shit like that you don't need.
Yeah.
They had Kit Kats, but I was like too overwhelmed to even buy Kit Kats, which is a lot for me.
It was cheap.
It was cheap.
Kit Kats was really cheap.
But not worth it.
Yeah.
Just go to like a grocery store and buy Kit Kats, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna get David some glasses. So we did a little bit more shopping, and that included some glasses shopping for David. Glasses are very cheap in Japan compared to in Canada. I think David spent $170 on glasses and frames, like prescription glasses and frames. It was crazy. So he tried on a bunch of different ones, but he settled on these ones in the end, which I think are pretty cute. And after that, we did more shopping. We actually went back to Loft again because we just love that store so much. So we did a bit more shopping there, and then we went back to the hotel and got ready to go out to dinner. All right, we're in our last hotel. Oh, we are so tired. We were shopping all day, but this is our room. There's a little sink here for the bathroom, and then bed, and then the view is really cool. You can see a lot of the city, even though the city goes on forever, but look at that. That's a sick view. Oh, it's so exciting. I love it. We're in Miyajima Park as well. So I'm just showing you all like the pictures of the outside and stuff right now, but very good. Let's see the bathroom.
Not much of a bathroom.
No. It's a baby bathroom. Oh, and the shower.
Back to small bathrooms.
Because we're in the city. Gotta make it small to fit more people in. But damn, it's nice. I like it.
The view is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So before going out to dinner, David and I visited Tokyo Skytree to see the sights. And Tokyo Skytree is basically an observation tower. You take an elevator up to the top, and then you can see the view of the city. It is 634 meters tall, so not too crazy tall, but if you're afraid of heights, you might be a little scared up here. But once we got to the top and through all the crowds, it was totally worth it to look out over the city and see Tokyo just go on past the horizon. Like, you look at the horizon and there's more city after that, and that's just Tokyo, which is absolutely crazy. I think that's insane for a city, but I also think it's incredibly amazing. They also had a glass floor that you could walk on, and it was a little scary because there was probably like 20 people on the glass floor with you, so I was a little scared on there, but it was pretty cool to see. After that, we met up again with our friends Wally and Joe, and then we went out for a barbecue. It was so delicious, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in part 2. After having a fun night and staying out past midnight almost, which is rare for us, we had our last day in Tokyo, and we decided to just run around and do some extra shopping, pick up any souvenirs, and just spend the rest of our yen. It's really cool just walking around and seeing everyone just interacting and having fun together. We even saw the go-karts, which were pretty cool. And after our shopping, we went back to the hotel, packed our bags, grabbed one last matcha, and then we headed to the airport to go back to Vancouver. All right, so we're at the airport. We're gonna go home. It was a good trip, good honeymoon.
Yeah, great honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
This last day was tough though.
It was our flight leaves at 10:55 p.m. So
9:55.
9:55?
Yeah.
9:55 p.m. So we're tired already. So hopefully we'll just sleep on the plane all the way back to Vancouver. That'd be lovely. Mm-hmm. Sleep for 9 hours?
Hopefully.
All right, well, thanks for following along on our journey, and yeah, I don't think we have any plans to go anywhere anytime soon after this, but we'll see what happens. All right, bye. Overall, we had such an amazing honeymoon in Japan. It was 3 years later, but it was definitely worth the wait. All the sights that we saw were absolutely amazing. The food was incredibly delicious, and the people were very nice, at least everyone except for these pesky deer. If you're looking to visit Japan anytime soon, I do have a really good travel tip for you, and that is to use this luggage service. If you check into a hotel, they're actually able to use this service to ship your luggage from one hotel to the next. It does take about 2 days, I think, to get there, but if you plan accordingly and bring a travel backpack for some extra clothes, you don't have to lug your heavy suitcases around Japan, which is amazing. And if you're worried about navigating the subways or the train stations at all, definitely don't be. They are really easy to use, and a lot of the times they have an English option on the machines where you buy your ticket, so everything is pretty simple. Also, if you're going to multiple cities, like we went to from Tokyo to Osaka and further south, definitely pick up a JR pass. It is way cheaper and faster than taking the local trains. The JR Pass also lets you ride on the Shinkansen, and you might be lucky enough to ride the Hello Kitty one. So if you got this far in the video, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to stay tuned for part 2 of our Japan travel vlog, where I show you all the amazing foods we ate in Japan. I can tell you right now, this is a vlog you don't want to miss, so make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.